Nogueira por sua importante contribuição à sessão extraordinária do Conselho Permanente. Eu agora tenho o prazer e satisfação de oferecer a palavra à senhora Bianca Jagger, fundadora e presidente da Fundação pelos Direitos Humanos, Bianca Jagger. Seja bem-vinda, senhora Jagger. A senhora tem a palavra.
Buenos días. Good morning. Thank you, Secretary General Almagro. Thank you, President of the Permanent Council, dear President of the Ambassador Rita Cheverria Diaz de Scioli, the Permanent Representative from Guatemala, members of the High-Level Commission about Nicaragua, member states of the OAS. I will take the liberty today to speak in English. I thought a lot about it and thought that perhaps there were more people who spoke English that perhaps didn't speak Spanish, and therefore I will address the audience in English. Thank you for inviting me to address you about the alarming situation in Nicaragua. Gracias, embajador Díaz, por convocar esta importante sesión. Estimado presidente del Consejo Permanente de la Organización de Estados Americanos, representantes permanentes de Guatemala, miembros de la Comisión de Alto Nivel sobre Nicaragua, Estados miembros de la OEA. También quiero darles la bienvenida a todos los nicaragüenses que se encuentran aquí y, en particular, a las madres de los inocentes que han sido asesinados en Nicaragua. I would like to tell you a little about myself, for those of you who don't know me. I was born in Nicaragua, and I am a Nicaraguan and British citizen. I am founder and president of the Bianca Jagger Human Rights Foundation, Council of Europe Goodwill Ambassador, and a member of the Executive Director's Leadership Council of Amnesty International. I have dedicated most of my life to defend human rights, peace and justice, and the rule of law throughout the world. I would like to thank the members of the High-Level Commission for Nicaragua for their invaluable report submitted for consideration to the OAS Permanent Council. I am here to lend my staunch support to the report. It is clear that despite all the efforts made by the Commission, the Nicaraguan government refused to allow members of the Commission to visit Nicaragua and to meet with them. Daniel Ortega, Nicaragua's dictator, has refused to return to the negotiating table and has refused to take any action that could restore human rights, the rule of law, and democracy in Nicaragua. I applaud the Commission's recommendations that the Permanent Council should take the following measures within the framework of Article 20 of the Inter-American Democratic Charter. I declare there is an unconstitutional alteration of the constitutional regime that seriously impair the democratic order in Nicaragua. Immediately convene a special session of the General Assembly to review the matter. The Commission believes that any peaceful solution to the situation in Nicaragua must include an end to the repression, the restoration of human rights, including freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and freedom of the press. I agree with the Commission's statement that it is clear that Nicaragua is experiencing a critical human rights situation that urgently demands the attention of the inter-American community and the world at large. As some of you may know, I have advocated for peaceful solution throughout my life. I would be the first one to promote a negotiated settlement with Daniel Ortega, if I believe it was possible. But until today, as the members of the Commission found out, all diplomatic efforts so far had failed. Ortega has made a mockery of them. I am here to appeal to you to prevent further bloodshed, to prevent further assassination of children, to prevent further assassination of campesinos or poor farmers, to prevent further assassination of students, to prevent the relentless persecution of the Catholic Church, of the mothers and families of the political prisoners, to prevent the persecution of the media and independent journalists, to prevent the brutal repression of the unarmed people of Nicaragua. I have distributed to all of you the latest report I hope that you have it there with you, which include the update number of people killed, which is 360. What I would like to say, to focus on the fact that many of the people believe that in Nicaragua there is only been 325 people killed. Some others believe that it's been 329. But the CENID, which is run by one of the most respected human rights defenders in Nicaragua, Doña Vilma Núñez, has updated that number, and she has reported that 31 poor farmers in Nicaragua in remote places have been assassinated. It is really important for all of you to realize that Nicaragua is a small country, that we are only a country of 6 million inhabitants, that, as we have heard already today, that is more than 100,000 people that had had to flee the country, that many of those people are today in Costa Rica, that these Nicaraguans who have fled the country will destabilize those countries, a country like Costa Rica, if we do not put an end to the murders and the crimes against humanity that are taking place in the country. I believe that by now you have realized that you will not be able to achieve any result by procrastinating and hesitating, that you will need to take concrete actions to force Daniel Ortega, the Nicaraguan dictator, to restore democracy, justice, and the rule of law in Nicaragua, to allow free and fair elections, and to allow freedom of expression. The time has come for you to act. I would like to tell you that I have been in Nicaragua last year. I went to Nicaragua to release with Amnesty International 2 reports. One of them was called Shoot to Kill, that I participated on a demonstration of the mothers who had lost their children during April. It was called the Mothers of April. During that march, there were sniper shooters who killed 18 innocent people. There were 80 people who were hurt. But that is not the worst. Probably the worst is that Daniel Ortega and Rosario Murillo have given orders to the hospitals and the doctors not to provide any medical attention to the wounded, and that many of them died at the doorsteps of the hospital, that there are hundreds of doctors today in Nicaragua that had to flee the country because they are persecuted. Any doctors who oppose those orders will be thrown out of the job, will have to leave Nicaragua. That is unconscionable and should not be accepted. I am so glad that the Vice President of the Inter-American Commission for Human Rights has mentioned what is happening just a few days in Nicaragua. I don't know if you know that on the 14th of November, in the church in Masaya, that the vicar, Father Edwin Roman, he hosted 9 mothers of the political prisoners who went on a hunger strike. I can tell you, I have no words to express to you what I have learned, because I was the whole time in contact with Father Roman and learned the atrocities and the way the police came and surrounded them and made them hostages, and how the police cut electricity and cut water. We're talking about about people who were on hunger strike. We're talking about a father who suffered from diabetes and who needed insulin. We're talking about them who were calling me and who were talking to me and telling me how the police were banging in the door, trying to get in, how there were 13 people who came to bring them water and they were arrested, and today they are accused of being terrorists and trying to bring weapons. That is false. All they were trying to do was to bring water, because water seems to be the enemy of Daniel Ortega. Well, you know, everybody who tried, I've been in touch with many important people in government, at the OAS, ambassadors, pleading them to please help the mothers and Father Roman to come out of there. And nothing was possible because Daniel Ortega will not listen to anyone, will not allow anyone to intervene, because there is a real persecution of the church, because there is a real persecution in Nicaragua of anyone who opposes and denounces his crime. And for that reason, finally, there was an ambulance that came to get them out on Friday. And they are in the hospital. And I have a video from Father Roman, who's sick and who makes a message to all of you. I come here to plead with you. The time has come to really apply Article 21, to convene a meeting with the General Assembly of the OAS. It is necessary to put a stop to Daniel Ortega, to his crime, and to finally allow the Nicaraguan people to hope for democracy, the rule of law, and justice. I plead with you. Please help us. Thank you very much.
Buenas tardes. Hoy 14 de noviembre, 4:45 de la tarde, están cortando el agua en la iglesia de San Miguel. Cortando el agua por orden de la policía de Masaya y por orden del gobierno, dictadura de Daniel Ortega Rosero Murillo.
In here you see the people inside the church, and then you see as well the police that was outside, and you can see what they were saying. You saw some of the images.
Buenos días, estamos aquí dentro de las instalaciones de la iglesia San Miguel, solidarizándonos con todas las personas que el día de ayer vinieron a dejar agua. Nosotros recibimos parte de esa agua que dejaron. Estamos orando igual por la libertad de ellos.
Seguimos en la lucha, vamos a hacer la lucha por ellos y por los presos políticos.
Navidad sin presos políticos.
Navidad sin presos políticos.
Viva Nicaragua libre.
¡Viva!
Gracias muchachos por su solidaridad.
Muchas gracias,
hermanos.
Mi corazón se nos da.
Gracias, Dios los bendiga.
Y a todo el pueblo de Nicaragua que está orando por
Estemos
nosotros,
luchando.
porque sabemos que nuestro pueblo está de rodillas pidiendo al Señor por nosotros y acompañándonos en esta lucha de la Navidad por nuestro pueblo.
¡Viva Nicaragua libre!
¡Viva!
¡Viva!
Doña Flor.
Buenos días, Karen Lacayo.
Rosa María Rivera. Madre Melquisedec. Hazel Palacio. Luisa Guevara.
Yonarqui Martínez, abogada defensora de derechos humanos.
Zuleika Sánchez. Diana Lacayo, mamá de Cali Armero.
These were the mothers who were on a hunger strike inside the church with Father Roman. And this is Father Roman from the hospital.
De Masaya. Estoy en el hospital capitalino después de haber terminado una huelga de hambre que realizaron estas 9 madres de presos políticos exigiendo la libertad. Estos jóvenes se encuentran encarcelados por esta dictadura. Mi papel fue haberle abierto las puertas del templo para darle un espacio, ya que no contamos con un auditorio, donde estas madres iban a estar en un espacio.
Because the sound is not good enough, but I just wanted you to know that this is Father Roman sending us a message from the hospital where he's still today there. Thank you very much.